Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yuri Folarin. Hope we meet you well. There's a sense in which we'll sort of try and finish up something we started earlier in the week. On Tuesday, if you remember, we had as guests the coordinator, is the coordinator, AVM Monday Morgan, coordinator of the, the Benue Rebirth Movement. The Benue Rebirth Movement. We had the AVM, he spoke, and, he generally gave us the lie of the ground. The general, if you understand how it is in Benue State, the general is Idoma. The dominant nationality there is TIV. The governor is TIV. They have these groupings into Group A, B, and C. So there's A, there's B, and there's C. I'm sure everybody from Benue State is following me, but just generally hold it like that. The TIV are in the A, and then they also sprinkled into the B and C. And we had to talk about that because the general and his movement and all like-minded people think that things have not been fair at all in Benue State. The state is going to be 47 years old very soon. And they complain that nothing of substance has come to them as a people. It seems like they are being muscled, being thwarted left, right, and center. When we spoke about it, on Tuesday, we didn't have all sides of the conversation. We had, as I said, AVM Monday Morgan, and, as I also said, he's Idoma. We didn't get the TIV side. Well, we did, but we thought we'd just do the right of reply, because we did get a call after the program that we'd like to be able to respond to some of those allegations. And we say, by all means, we always want to hear both sides of the story. So today, our friend, he doesn't always talk about Benue politics, but today he's here, so to speak, and we can be sure that we'll get the Idoma perspective from Curtis Ajiba. Thank you very much for coming on.
Not only Idoma perspective, the justice and fairness perspective.
Indeed. And that's the way it is always put. In fact, we had an architect on Tuesday, and in my mistake, I had categorized his group as something about the Idoma. I said, no, it's not about Idoma. It's not about the TIV. It's about Benue, and it's about justice. So we continue that conversation today, and I'm happy that we couldn't get hold of the governor. We would have loved to speak with Governor Ortom, but we do have his special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Teva Akase. He'll be joining us via Zoom. Teva, good morning to you. I do believe you're connected already. Okay, there you are. Good morning, Teva.
Good morning, Yuri, and I'm happy to be with you on this program today.
Indeed. Thank you very much as well. And the other gentleman you can see there is Mr. ATSAR GUNDU Jr. Mr. ATSAR GUNDU Jr. is a social activist, and he's a member of the Benue Rebirth Movement Youth Wing. He's also here. Also, the way I pointed it out that day, I think I can also point out that Baba Gundu Jr., he's actually a TIV, but in this dispensation, this conversation, he's saying, nevertheless, we can talk about it for the sake of Benue. Fairness demands that the Idoma people shouldn't be as shut out as they would appear to be. And so that's the perspective in which we shall be hearing from Baba ATSAR Baba Gundu Jr. today. Okay, having set the scene, I'm happy that Teva, when we spoke earlier, way before this program, you told me that, yep, you actually caught a lot of that discussion, if not all of it. So maybe we can then jump into it with both feet. The allegation is that the TIV are not making life funny or indeed enjoyable on the home front in Benue State, and that it seems to be by design. There seems to be a concerted effort to shut them out. So you heard it, you heard the rest of it. So what would you like to respond with, Teva Akasi?
Hello?
Yes, hello. Did you hear me?
Okay, yes, I got your question.
Okay, you lost the question. I was saying that I was saying, how would you react to the statement that the TIV in Benue have been dominating everything, all the political positions, everything altogether, and this has been a consistent pattern. It's been going back more than 40 years now. And the other peoples of Benue feel that what is wrong with an Idoma being something? Why is it that, because people pointed out that, well, an Idoma has been a deputy governor. Say, so what? What's wrong with an Idoma man being, you know, at the head of the queue now and again?
Well, as you rightly introduced me, I am Governor Samuel Ortom's spokesman, and the governor is the governor of Benue State. He is not the governor of the TIV people. He is not the governor of the Idoma people only. He is the governor of the state, and that means he is the governor of whoever lives in Benue State. And so I will not be speaking for the TIV people. I am here to clarify the misconception, the misleading information that our elder brother, the retired AVM, a man we would love to ordinarily respect, Monday Morgan, when he appeared on your program. And what he said, I find his statements rather like an attempt, a deliberate attempt to put up the governor for victimization, to you know, to drag the governor into an unnecessary and avoidable media tussle, and that shouldn't be. By the way, Monday Morgan is leading a group which goes by the name Benue REBIRTH Movement.
That's right.
It is not Idoma REBIRTH Movement. Now, when you are leading a group that goes by the name of a state, you should carry on like, I mean, your operations, your utterances should reflect the state. Benue REBIRTH Movement should not be canvassing for an Idoma governor. Benue REBIRTH, except they want to change their name, they should be canvassing for a competent Benue son who will lead the state according to the tenets of that name, REBIRTH. Now, we have not seen that.
But the rebirth part, sorry sir, the rebirth part, according to, you know, the contributors, was we are all Benue State citizens. You can't exclude any one people from, you know, the way we organize our states. As you know, they say that, for example, if you look at the Speaker of the House of Assembly, his TIV, you look at the Chief Judge, his TIV, you look at the Chief Registrar, TIV, Attorney General, TIV, Solicitor General, yeah, he's Idoma, Chairman, Judicial Service Commission, his TIV, and there is much, much more. So against that backdrop, can you really fault their feeling a bit, you know, isolated?
Now, you see, Monday Morgan goes to television and makes it look like a PDP thing. The All Progressives Congress in Benue State just zoned their governorship to the same region that PDP did. Now, Benue REBIRTH Movement is silent on it. And that's why I think that Monday Morgan and his group are out to victimize Governor Samuel Ortom, and it's quite unfortunate. Now, when they visited Governor Ortom in August last year, I was in that meeting. I was here to resign as his chief press secretary, so I was present. And the governor told them that this movement is a wonderful movement. And he advised that they are also aware of the demographics of Benue State. Now, an Idoma governor is possible. And how possible is an Idoma governor? The leaders of the group, Benue REBIRTH movement, should carry out consultations, meet with all groups in Benue State, especially in Zone A and B, and discuss with their TIV brothers. And this should be non-partisan. I mean, this should be apolitical. And what he meant by that is that discuss with APC, discuss with PDP, and discuss with any other party that is in Benue State, so that especially the major political parties will all zone, if they agree that this is the time for an Idoma governor to emerge, all of them will now zone their governorship to Zone C, and a candidate will emerge in Zone C. And don't forget, just a minute, don't forget that Idoma people are not the only people in Zone C.
That's right.
There are other groups like the Igedes who have never tested the senatorial seat. Now, Monday Morgan is silent on that fact as well. Over the years, since 1999, the senatorial seat has remained in the Idoma, and that's why I was saying that, look, their agitation should be wholesome. Don't only talk about governorship. And when you are talking about governorship, don't victimize the PDP. Don't make it look like a PDP thing. What are you saying about APC? What are you saying about ABGA? What are you saying about the other parties? So that's why I think that he and his group need to go back to the drawing board and come up with a better argument. And Benue people will listen to them.
Now, just 1 second, please, Teva. Your Governor Tom, has gone on record as saying, look, you can't really, one of the reasons why it's not been possible so far for a person of Idoma extraction to vie, for that seat, for the top seat, is that they can't get the numbers. And so it would be like a wasted ticket almost. I'm not sure he used that particular word, but that's the whole challenge here. Until they sort of organize themselves, they can't get the numbers with which to make a success of the bid. Your governor has gone on record as saying that.
Well, you see, again, they misquoted the governor. They quoted him out of context. It was in that same meeting that the governor counseled as a leader of the state that he has no problems at all. He will be a happy governor to see an Idoma person emerge as his successor. Why would he want to stop any segment of the state from leading Benue? But that the reality is the demographics. So what do? You, Benue REBIRTH movement, go and consult widely. Meet with the T people, meet with the Idoma people, meet with the Igede people, meet with the Tulos, meet with the Jukuns, meet with everybody.
Okay. I get you. All right. Thanks for that clarification. Now in studio here, Curtis, you heard his presentation. He's saying that isn't this a bit like a storm in a teacup, that it's not quite as is being presented?
All right. Thank you for having me. When I was coming to the studio, I battled with one thought. And that thought was simple. Could it be that my governor, His Excellency Samuel Ortom, is genuinely interested in fairness, equity, and justice for other indigents of Benue State outside his own TIV people, and that is actually that he may be encountering a pushback or a strong headwind from elites from his own side, and that he probably had the interest of everybody in mind. But that doubt has been resolved for me while in the studio here. Now I understand that he's a major participant in entrenching the injustice and the iniquity that has been perpetrated in Benue for almost 47 years. And why do I say so?
Are you saying this because of something Trevor said?
Yes, because you see, the fact that the governor found it expedient to send someone to make his case. And you can see that my brother Teves is having a hard time putting his thoughts together, having a hard time trying to rationalize and justify.
I don't know. He was fluent enough. I don't know that he was confused.
Fluency doesn't take away hardness.
Okay.
In persecuting a cause that is unjust. And I explained that to you. You know, he set out by saying the governor is the governor for everyone. We have not seen that in action and words. We rightly quoted the governor. He's saying he wants to win. The Idomas don't have the number to win, except they are able to convince their TIV brothers. Whose responsibility is it to convince his people? The governor today is the leader of Benue people. Is, so to say, the father of Benue State. He has the greatest and the biggest political leverage to make that case on behalf of other indigents of Benue. What has he done in that regard? Why is the governor hiding behind the finger and saying to the Idoma people and others, I have told you to go and consult widely. And even after they have consulted and they are not making headway, he's not taking a step to try to see that the right thing was done. Rather, my brother is telling us in the studio here that we shouldn't complain at all because we are also unjust to the Igede people. And this is the division, artificial division, that they have created to rationalize the injustice that they have been perpetrating over the years. And I'll explain to you why. First and foremost, the Igedes are Idomas. All right? I grew up in Otupo in a place called Ochidoma's Palace. My father, as a counselor for education, happened to occupy one of those flats within the complex of the Ochidoma Palace as counselor for education in the old Otupo local government. The only Ochidoma I grew up to know as the Ochidoma, Abraham Ajena Okpabi, was an Igede man.
Ochidoma being the traditional ruler
of the entire Idoma people.
Yes, just for people who don't understand.
And he was there for 35 years. Okay? Igedes are Idoma. Utonkons are Idomas. Igumales are Idomas. Adatus are Idoma. Just like they're the thieves, have the Kwande, Jechira, Sankara, Minda, and all that. So these are Idomas. But it is in their best interest to create that artificial division and say that Igedes are not Idomas and that the Idomas have been unfair to the Igedes because the Idomas have not ceded the senatorial seat of Zone C to the Igedes. And the argument, therefore, is phony. Phony in the sense that, are you saying that you will punish me the more because I'm also punishing myself?
Sorry, sir. I'm going to come back to you because I wanted to hear from the youth leader. Because ATSAR Baba GUNDU Jr., you're a social activist. You're a member of the Benue REBIRTH movement youth wing. You also are TIV. Yet it would appear to me that your agitation is that everything that they are saying, that is any Idoma activist, you can see a lot of reason to it. Put that in perspective for me, please.
Uncle Yori, thank you so much for this great opportunity you have given me to be on your program. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate Nigerians watching us all over the country. The network has been very bad here, but I've listened to.
But we can hear you well.
Sir?
I think we can hear you very well.
Okay, very good.
You commented that the network has been a bit unkind, but we can hear you very well. I was assuring you.
I've listened to Tebe Akase. I've listened to my brother who is in your studio, and permit me to say that there's no tension. There's no ethnic tension in Benue State. Let me say the record straight. There's no tension as far as I am concerned, the only tension we have in Benue State is political tension, which is all over the country. It's expected that as civilized people, we should not incite ourselves. There are some statements when you make on a social media or live TV, it will create pandemonium, it will create chaos. Therefore, there's no ethnic tension in Benue State. The thieves and the Idoma are living happily. The only problem we have in Benue State is political tension. And it's not only in Benue State, it's all over the country, as 2023 is by the corner. The situation in Benue State is worrisome politically, because Benue State was created in 1976. We have many leaders outside Benue State who came in and ruled us. Here in Benue State, let me put it this way. From 1999, when democracy returned to Nigeria, we have Senator George Akume from Taka local government area of Benue State, ruled Benue State for 8 years. We have distinguished Senator Gabriel Suswan from Zone A. Sorry, Akume from Zone B and Suswan from Zone A, ruled Benue State for 8 years. And now we have Governor Samuel Ortom ruling Benue State. And then some of us that have conscience, we look at it this way, that Benue State is not only for the thieves. Benue State is for all of us. We have the thieves that constitute about 14 local governments. We have the Idomas, comprises of the Igedes, name them, about 9 local governments. Then we look at it that no, there is a need for us in Benue State to practice justice, fairness, and equity. Therefore, if Senator Akume ruled Benue State for 8 years, distinguished Senator Gabriel Suswan ruled Benue State for 8 years, and Governor Samuel Ortom ruled Benue State for 8 years, for the sake of equity, for the sake of justice, for the sake of fairness, let power be rotated to Zone C, to our brothers, the Idomans. We have a popular saying in Benue State, Yana Wangban. A few days ago, Architect Patrick Okura was on your program, and he spoke very well. And permit me to use this opportunity to correct some misconceptions on what one of your guests said yesterday on your program, Mr. Terence Kwano. In difficult times like this, we expect men
that was on Tuesday.
Of conscience.
It wasn't yesterday, it was on Tuesday.
Okay, sorry, there before yesterday, on Tuesday. Permit me to say that in difficult times like this, we expect men and women of conscience to speak. So when your guest came to your program on Tuesday, he made some statements that are not good. And permit me to say that some of those statements he made are totally unacceptable. On this live program, he described one of our elder statesmen, His Excellency General Monday Morgan, as an arrogant person. That is totally unacceptable. We don't do that in Benue State. The position of Terence Kurano is totally unacceptable. And I want to apologize to His Excellency General Monday Morgan for that defamatory statement. The situation we have in Benue State has to do with conscience. Yes, the Idomans, not only the Idomans, the whole Benue State is agitating for power shift to Zone C. Why are they agitating for power shift to Zone C? They're agitating for power shift to Zone C because of 1, justice, 2, fairness, and 3, for the sake of equity. Now, let me streamline my discussion further. You recall in 1979 or something thereabout, our founding fathers, let me mention one of his name, led Senator J.S. Tucker, a TIV man from Benue State, brought in a Kanuri man from Borno State, where he handed over single-handedly, emphasis, single-handedly, handed over the representative of the Jemba to that Kanuri man from Borno State. It's on record. Therefore, we believe that if we are the offsprings of Senator J.S. Tucker, we should practice his modus of operandi. We should accommodate everyone around us.
Okay.
We should allow other tribes.
Baba GUNDU, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And of course, we'll come back to you. Teva, you're still there. On Tuesday, on the Tuesday conversation, this same conversation, the Tuesday version of it, we were hearing things like the figures even that between A and B, they have like what, 72% if it comes to numbers for which to vote, and the Idomas, therefore have 28% and therefore could never make it unless. In fact, one of the other things that Terence Kwanum said was that, I didn't know that he said directly to the AVM that he was arrogant, but he did. But he did say, rightly or wrongly, most people will say wrongly, that the Idomas are being arrogant in their quest. That if there's this divide of 72% to 28% for the Idoma, they could never make it unless they sort of came down off their arrogant horse and went into negotiation, which I imagine most Idomas would have found offensive. What would you say?
We've been negotiating.
What would you say to that?
Well, you see, I began by saying that I am not here to speak on behalf of TIV people or Idoma people or Igede people or any tribe in that matter, for that matter, in Benue State. I'm here speaking on behalf of His Excellency, the Governor of Benue State. Now, the Governor of the state will not be dragged into stories of tribes. He presides over the state as the governor of all people who live in Benue State. And
but the governor is aware of these tensions.
I will pray that.
Teva, the governor is, like all enlightened Benue citizens, is aware of these tensions, right?
And that's why he counseled. As the governor of the state, he told BRM, that's Benue REBIRTH movement, to make their consultations to be Benue-like in approach and appeal. And what you remember that I already told you is so that all these demographic permutations of the TIV being 72%, Zone C being 28%, will not be there. And any Benue man, wherever he comes from, can become the governor of the state.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to cut in there because I've got to go to a break. I like the statement, any Benue man, wherever he comes from, can become the governor. You said you're a spokesman for the governor, so I'm going to take it that you are also indicating that that is Governor Ortom's perspective. We'll talk about that. I'll ask, we'll come over to the rest, Curtis, and then go around again when we come back from this break. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back, and it's the second leg of our conversation occasioned by the right of response from the governor's office, and we have with us the special advisor to the Benue State Governor on Media Publicity, Mr. Teva Akase, who you heard just before we went on break. Now, coming back to you, we also have on the program, you've seen ATSAR Baba GUNDU Jr., social activist, member of the Benue Rebirth movement, which is, very much for the cause of, the Rebirth movement. And the Rebirth movement is saying that enough is enough. And Idoma is also a citizen of Benue, and he can be the governor. It's remarkable that ATSAR Baba GUNDU is actually a TIV. But he's saying it's all about equity, justice, and the morality of it. And in studio here, Curtis Adigba, he's a lawyer and political affairs analyst. He also happens to be a citizen of Benue State, and that's where he comes in. So coming back to you, sir, Mr. Akase, I mentioned some of the things that other people might say without context. They can't really understand it. I did say the secretary to the government is TIV, the head of service is Idoma, but then you have the permanent chairman of the Benue State Council of Chiefs is TIV, chairman Local Government Service Commission is TIV, chair of the Civil Service Commission, he is Idoma, that must be said. But I also have on my list here that going to the educational sector now, the VC of the State University is TIV, Deputy, Vice Chancellor Admin is TIV, Deputy VC Academic, he's Igede, and then the Registrar of the State University, he is TIV. Surely you can see where people are coming from when they say that it does look like the case of the Benue Rebirth movement. It seems clear enough, and I can see that you're smiling there, so let me just wait on your response.
Well, Yuri, isn't it interesting and pleasant to see that contrary to the insinuations, some TIV people are the ones in the vanguard clamoring for an Idoma governor come 2023. My brother there, Ababata Gundu, is a TIV man. And day before yesterday, I saw another TIV man, Architect Ukura, on your program. So that neutralizes, as much as I'm not here to speak for the TIV people, it's interesting to see that TIV people, some of them are the ones saying. So that should tell you that TIV people are not as bad as someone would think they are. If they are that bad, ATSAR Gundu will not be on this program to come to agitate, to call for an Idoma governor. Be that as it may, I mean, you see, Benue State has 23 local government areas. And out of the 23, 14 are TIV-speaking local government areas. Zone C has 9. Which is made up of Idoma and Igede. Now, in the allocation of appointments, remember that a cabinet of the state must have commissioners from the local governments and advisors. So will you, Yuri, as the governor of Benue State, just because you want the Idomas to feel that they are not marginalized, give, for instance, out of the 23 local government chairmen, if you have 23 commissioners, for instance, will you give 14 or 15 to Zone C and less than that number to Zone A and B, which has the majority? Will you do that? I want us to look at the realities on ground.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. I understand the point that you're making. Curtis, did you have any comments on that?
See, again, my brother is threading the needle in the dark. On one hand, he wants to make a distinction without a difference by saying some TIV people are in support of the agitation by the Idoma people. And I agree with him. And nobody has said all the TIV people are against Idoma people. That's not what we have said consistently.
Neither, I imagine, is the governor against Idoma people.
I don't think
it can't be that.
No, the point is this, and I need to provide you the background. In 1979, when the Igalas were still part of Benue, we arrived at some zoning arrangement. Former Governor Aperaku emerged as the candidate for governor from the TIV speaking area. Idoma emerged as the deputy governor. Now, Idoma, the third major tribe in the state, did not get the speakership of the Benue State House of Assembly.
And you thought that equity
might
have led in that direction?
The attempt done by Audu Ogbe to seek that position almost cost him his life. And the then President Shagari had to take him to the federal level as Minister of Communication. Then we came to 1999. Okay, in 1999, like he rightly said, Chief Akume, who was the permanent secretary in the state civil service, was elected governor with an Idoma man as deputy, Prince Ogriajene, the son of the late Ochidoma. Then they now say, oh, you know, it's Igede and they are not Idoma people. He served Akume for 8 years. There was this understanding that he would be supported by Chief Akume and other TIV leaders to emerge as governor or any other person from Zone C. That never happened.
Okay, that never happened.
Then Suswan came. Again, he had an Idoma man, Stephen Lawani, for 8 years. Now, in the next 1 year, Ortom would have had Benson Abono, a man who has shown competence, character, loyalty. In everything, he stood with his governor. Again, it's not qualified, it's been bypassed just because he by accident of creation, he found himself in Zone C and is an Idoma man.
Okay.
And so, look,
1 second.
So what I'm saying is that
is waiting on the
from
phone.
1979 up until now,
Yes.
out of the 3 branches of government, executive, legislature, and the judiciary, we've only occupied the judiciary for 10 months. And that was because they had no choice.
Okay. Mr. Ade in the UK, good morning to you, sir, and thank you for holding on.
Good morning, Dr. You have hold on now for 30 minutes. I greet all my brothers in the studio.
Okay.
What I want to say is that all my people in Benue State, because we're all one, we're all brothers and sisters. Our governor there, Ortom, he told us that he's a born-again Christian, that which I believe, because of people who have gone there to pray with him, I believe he's a born-again Christian. But he should realize that when he gets to heaven, God will ask him, you're born again. What about Idoma people? Did you not cheat them? That's number one. Our president so much love the governor of Benue State. So much. Now I know that because our president loves him. Because our president must have copied from Ortom that nepotism started from there. That's why they are implementing it at the federal level now. If not, how can you leave Idoma people alone without governing Benue? You are all one. And you are blaming the president this autumn. And you are doing the worst in Benue. This is a time for him to repent truly and show us that he's a born-again Christian and make
Well, Mr. Ade, why are you bringing the governor's religion into it? This is not a religious debate now. Why are you bringing in the governor's religion? Maybe you should just have seen him as...
God told us he's a born again. He has told us right now on the television that he's a born again, born again, born again. Nobody's asking now. So I agree he's a born again. But Udoma issue can debar him the heaven. Let him sort it out now. That's my advice to him. God bless you.
Okay. Coming back to you, ATSAR Baba GUNDU Jr., did you want to add anything? Because it seems to me that we've covered a lot of the ground. Not that there's any resolution to the matter, but you've heard all the perspectives. You've heard from the special advisor to the governor. So give me your comments, your further comments on this whole matter. Because the way he is saying it, the way the spokesman for the governor is saying it, this is very much like a storm in a teacup. That, look, it's a simple enough matter. You've got to negotiate, that is the Idomas, and in short, Zone C, have to negotiate their position because they don't have the numbers to take it by the ballot.
I disagree with him. And this is one of the reasons why I disagree with him. I disagree with him because he made mention of the movement called BRM. BRM visited the governor, seek his consent as the governor of Benue State and the leader of Benue State and the chief security officer of Benue State. They seek his consent concerning power shift to Zone C. The governor gave them ATSAR-related approval. The same governor who gave them the ATSAR-related approval that they should consult wide, they should meet with relevant stakeholders. The same governor at the end of the day made what I can describe as defamatory statement that an Idoma man cannot be governor. That was so, let me say, I'm so sad to hear that kind of statement. That means the governor is contradicting himself. As your guest in the studio made mention of Benson Abono. Benson Abono served the good people of Benue State as deputy governor for close to 8 years. And now, Benson Abono, before he decided to kind of join the gubernatorial race, he consulted the governor as his principal. He told the governor. And then, if you're not contradicting yourself, why do you allow Benson Abono to spend money to involve, to carry on with consultation? You would have, I expected the governor to tell Benson Abono that, look, I am not supporting an Idoma governorship, therefore go and rest.
Okay,
So,
one second. Teva, what do you make, I beg your pardon, one moment please. Teva, what do you make of the alleged contradiction of His Excellency the Governor in his positioning?
Well, Yuri, you see, it's interesting. My brother there, and it's unfortunate I couldn't hear what our friend Ade was saying. And so I won't be able to respond to him except you tell me what he said. But as to my brother and friend, ATSAR GUNDU, they have made Governor Ortom to appear like some superhuman or a semi-god who has this governorship on his arm and can dish it to anybody that he likes. They forget that this is democracy. And in democracy, Governor Ortom did not vote himself into power. He was voted by the people. He went through the process of elections, he consulted people and put himself there, and the people who voted the party, first of all, elected him, gave him his ticket. Now, they have not told you that Engineer Benson Abono, the deputy governor, is still in the race. The zoning that was done by the 14 local government areas of Benue State, which produced Title Suba, the Speaker of the State Assembly, as the consensus candidate for Zone A, has also produced the same arrangement has produced Benson Abono for Zone C. So that
is a very bad arrangement. Permit me to step in a little, sir. Uncle Yuri, permit me to step in.
I'm not an aggressive person, so when somebody becomes so aggressive, I don't know.
It's not. I'm not aggressive. I'm not aggressive, but we're running out of time.
I thought that Yuri is the one coordinating. I thought Yuri is the one coordinating.
Sorry, Teva. Sometimes these, interjections happen because, just, in the spirit of the conversation, what was the point that you were making, ATSAR?
You see, if
we do apologies to, because you did interrupt, Teva. You did interrupt Teva.
I'm so sorry to interrupt him. I'm so sorry. My apologies, please. If the governor is not contradicting himself, he, Terry Akasi, approached the governor, seek the governor's consent to aspire for governorship of Benue State 2023. The governor gave him approval. The governor gave Title Suba approval. The governor gave Tewasi Obunde approval. The governor gave Professor Dennis Chaya approval. You understand? Is it not this part of
Okay,
contradiction?
ATSAR, haven't heard that particular point with which you, since you interrupted Teva, let me go back to him, please. So Teva, he wanted to flesh out the point you were making. Please continue, Teva.
I thought my friend had taken over the moderation from you, and I had to wait and listen to him. But you see, on a serious note, Governor Ortom does not have the governorship on his palm to dish to anybody. The decision of who becomes the governor of Benue State resides with the people of the state, beginning with the political parties.
But the governor is the governor is the leader. He's the political leader. He's not the governor of the PDP in the place. He's not the governor of APC. He's the governor of Benue State. After that
is the reason. That is even more. That is the reason why he can't impose a candidate on the party. Stakeholders from the various blocks of PDP met and decided that for Zone C, it should be Benson Abonu, the deputy governor, and for Zone A, it should be Titus Uba, the speaker. The two of them are yet to decide on who will become the candidate of the ultimate flag bearer, but the process is still on. So for someone to now come and say the process has been concluded, that means the person is not aware of what is going on here.
Gentlemen, I beg your pardon. I've got to take Michael now, who has phoned in from MAKURDI. Good morning, Michael.
Hello?
Hello, Michael. Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Okay, good morning. Uncle Yori?
Good morning, sir.
Hello?
Good morning, sir. Please continue.
Okay. Uncle Yori, is rather unfortunate. You have guests who are lacking basic history. They were talking about 1999, 2007. There was a plan on ground to hand over to Zone C. They went into the primaries. Ask your guest there. All the TIV delegates then voted for Mike Onoja. What happened? The same aspirants donated their votes. Ahead of that, they donated their votes for a TIV aspirant. Ask your guest. They need to do away with internal sabotage. Politics is an interest-driven game. It's a game of numbers. If you're not
but at least we heard before the line sort of trailed out, we heard it. And I'm going to come back to you as a MOVT, because you actually called for this right of response. Special advisor to the Benue State Governor, Media Publicity. What's the way forward if things are not to continue this way? If well, I wanted the governor's spokesman to say that. I'll come back to you. What's the way forward from your perspective? And I'll take that same question as we close down to the other people. What's the way forward so that this agitation can, as it were, fall into what you have already told us, that His Excellency Samuel Ortom is the governor of the entire people of Benue State, Idoma or TIV, and all the other tribes in between. What's the way forward, do you think? Because the 72-28 issue is still there. So if people are not going to sort of do something, it will never come by the ballot. So that's where equity comes in. What do you think, sir, is the way forward on this question?
Beautiful question. The way we are already in the process, and all that remains to be seen and done is for our people, groups, to reduce emotions. This is democracy. Democracy is not dictatorship or some feudalism where you have people dishing out power. The governor does not have such power. That is why the parties are doing the process. Primaries will be made, will later be conducted this month. And even those who did not agree with the consensus are free. They have said, many of them have said they will go to the primaries. So the ultimate thing for them is to go to the primaries. So I think that we need to reduce emotions. If you are a candidate, you are seeking for people's vote, go about with your consultations.
Okay, I'm going to have to leave it there because of time. I would have liked to hear more from you, but because of time, I'm going to have to leave it there. And also ask ATSAR, your closing on this particular segment of the conversation, because there will be many, many more conversations on this issue. ATSAR, your last words.
Closing remarks is simple. Time has come for the good people of Benue State to speak with one united voice. Let power be shifted to Zone C. What is the reason behind?
I'm so sorry, ATSAR. I'm going to have to leave it there too. That's a strong statement, and it does epitomize everything that you're about. Thank you very much, ATSAR Baba GUNDU Jr., social activist and member of the Benue Rebirth Movement Youth Wing. And I wanted to point out that you happen to be a TIV, but you're speaking on the side of Idoma in this particular issue because you are a citizen of Benue State. Thank you very much for coming on. And
thank you.
Also let me just thank you, Special Advisor to Benue State Governor on Media Publicity, Mr. Teva Akase, who joined us via Zoom. Thank you very much, Teva, as always. We appreciate you. Appreciate you both. And in studio here, your final words, just in a few seconds.
Look, the governor is the leader of the state and the leader of the party in the state. It is his responsibility in pursuit of fairness, equity, and justice to make it clear to his own people that the Idomas, as citizens of Benue State, also deserve the right to govern and to lead.
Okay.
Now, it's for him to send someone to defend the indefensible. This is my position. That instead of going to the field there and appealing and talking to people and say, look, this is the right thing for us to do. Because he shouldn't forget that he was also assisted by some people.
Yes,
but that he has chosen to defend what is indefensible is very, very offensive to right-thinking people of this country, because they don't have the majority at the center, but they are getting equity, justice, and fairness from the federal government.
Curtis Adigwa, lawyer and political affairs analyst, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Also thank you out there for joining the program, contributing in some cases, and indeed just listening. So please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.